Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. We had unbelievable weather here, 20 degrees above normal, so we're happy campers and all have smiles on our face. So thanks for being on today. Today we're going to start with just kind of an update with Ben Rowe from ECA, who is their life insurance head and always has great insights on what's happening with the industry and with life insurance in general. So Ben, thanks for being with us today. What do you got?
Thanks, Mike. Hi, everybody. Going to go through a couple things today. Some carrier updates, an update on the DOL rule, some other things happening at ECA, and then as far as the medical or underwriting side, just talk a little bit about pivoting cases and the quick quote process for that. So carrier updates, I think what we're going to see in the next couple months, we've already had a few carriers increase prices on their GUL, Mutual of Omaha and Prudential most recently. Prudential has also interestingly limited the face amount that they'll allow on their UL and survivorship to $5 million. And from talks to other carriers as they come in, there are a few others that will be following suit on that, and that'll be, I think, one change. They're just looking to limit that amount of risk they have on the guaranteed contracts. Other carrier updates. Now we have a few carriers, if you're doing term, that have a quick simplified drop ticket process for their term. And we're adding Principal to our ECA term app, so they're going to be a good option. The nice thing with that is their process, most of the time, clients will not have to take an exam. So if you just want to, take a little less time on term cases and you've got young, healthy clients, it's a good product for that. Lincoln also has a new term product that's a no exam, and Banner also has a similar process now with their term where they can request it upon review, but a lot of the cases we're finding don't even need an exam. So that's the big news on the term side, is that process is getting simpler and not always even requiring an exam, especially for younger clients with no medical issues. Why put them through an exam when they're not getting really, the insurance company's not getting any benefit from that, and it's a costly process. Simplify and streamline it, and a lot of times those cases are issued in 2-3 weeks. So some good news there. As far as carriers, as far as where they're at in the process, many of them are a little slow because it's year-end. They're trying to get things through for the year-end process. We've got deadlines coming up early part of December to mid-December as far as getting things paid for this year. So carriers, and a couple carriers too, have gone through some staffing changes. MetLife, for example, they have lost in some areas over 2/3 of their staff. So things that took 2 days before are now taking 2 weeks to who knows when. It's kind of challenging with that. Principal too, they've taken in a lot of business with their new term process with the drop ticket. So that process is going good. However, they've taken in so much business that they're just very slow. Things are taking a week to 10 days in underwriting where they used to take 3 to 4 days. And just kind of across the board, other carriers are slow. Transamerica, American General, Protective, it's all taking them just a little bit longer to get through things. So when we used to be able to see updates in 2-3 days after we sent something, now it's usually taking a week before the carriers actually cleared that off and gone through the process of updating the case. So that's kind of where the carriers are at right now. As far as the DOL rule, ECA, probably about a month ago, submitted application paperwork to become a financial institution. So kind of behind the scenes, we're getting prepared for being able to continue business as usual going forward once that rule is implemented and in its final stages. Nothing's been finally decided for anyone as far as the industry goes on that. We're kind of waiting to see what the feedback is from the application. I know once it is approved and set forth, they'll have a template for others to do the same, but we're on the leading edge of that, so looking for good news on that in coming months. Other updates at ECA, we're partnering with a interpreter service. So what we've seen a lot more of lately is either foreign nationals or people who speak a different language that are living here, whether it's Spanish, Chinese, Japanese. So what we're seeing is more and more times we're having to get medical records interpreted or agents are asking for interpreter services because they have a client who speaks Mandarin, but they want help doing that phone interview. And the carriers actually require that someone there is there to interpret that's a disinterested party. Now, it can be a relative, but if they're a beneficiary or an owner on the contract, that's frowned upon, and most of the time you're going to have to get a new app if that was the case. So some carriers have a different take on that, but the best bet is to get an interpreter. We have a service that we're working with to set up for that. So if you have any cases that fall into that, give us a call and we can get you the right person to get that call set up. And they said the calls usually take only about maybe a third longer than a normal phone interview with the client would go for an application. So they do a pretty good job of doing that. They have over 240 languages. So if you wanted to market to things like that too, they can help with translation and website services too. So, and I just in the beginning stages with them on that, but if you do want more information on that, reach out to your 5Q guys and let them know, and we'll get you more information on that. The last thing I wanted to talk about is pivoting cases and quick quotes. So sometimes you might have a case in with us, or you might meet a client who had an application with another agent. They get a rating or a decline for whatever reason is, whether it's financial, whether it's related to their medical history or some occupational hazard or other thing that they do. If you get that reason for the rating or the decline, and get any other information you have, whether it's a copy of the application, the exam, anything like that, and get it over to us, I can take a look and say, is there anything else we can do with that? Sometimes I'll know, and I can look at the insurance manuals and say, well, yeah, with these conditions that they're reporting and that reason with this company that they said it was declined for that, this other company might have a better fit for it. So we can look. I might have you ask a few more questions of the client to get everything we need, and then for example, I see questions on breast cancer every week. I have a template ready. Basically, if you answered maybe 3 of the 10 questions, I'll give you the other 7 questions, to help narrow that down and see, because sometimes what some carriers might postpone 3 or 5 years, there's another small set of carriers that may be able to offer, and we can go through that and find that out. If it's not a really easy case to look at the manual and say yes or no, I can get more information. I can summarize that and send it out to over a dozen companies and see how they would take it. Whether it's a foreign travel, medical issue, financial issue, we can summarize those and get those out in quick quote and get answers back. Typically within 2 days, we get the bulk of the answers back. So if you have any cases like that too, feel free to shoot them our way, and we'll get you some answers on it. That's it for my update. So if there's any questions, I can take those now.
Let's see. Looks like you did a good job. No questions.
All right.
Thanks, Ben. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye. All right. So that was great that Ben could bring us up to date on those things. Couple of other updates here. ID theft booklets at the FTC has updated. And I think instead of ordering 80 now, you have to order lots of 100. They're still free. Is that right, Missy? Still free to order for free mailing?
Yep, they're still free, and that is correct. The only change is instead of 80, they require 100. Yep. So they're a little bit smaller, so I'm sure that it's a poundage for the shipping aspect of it. So you get 100, not 80.
And we've changed the 21 Lite and the 21 point, full 21 point checklist software to show that. So that's good news for us. Now, I'm going to be hitting you with this every single week as a reminder, because it's the 20-80 rule right now, where 20% of you guys get this and 80% for some reason have not gotten it. And that is when you've mastered the scripts and the motive to get clients to say the motive why the guy didn't do things, and you're doing your daily practice of the most important 15 minutes daily and GOTS, that's when you bring in every client you want. Why can we make that claim? Not most, not some, not 10%. Why can we make the claim that when you've mastered scripts and motive and you're doing your daily practice of MIFT and GOTS, will you get every single person that you sit down with? So I need everybody to be answering this. History is worthless. Yeah, you're right, Jerry. We got 50,000 recorded tapes. We quit in our archives. We quit storing them 4 years ago, so we probably got 60,000 by now of actual meetings. But let's not talk about history. What if you've mastered the scripts and motive, and you're doing your daily practice of the 15-minute drill and GOTS, why will you close everybody? So I've got one person that answers. Guys, everybody needs to answer this. If you don't get this, then you've missed the whole reason you came onto 5Q. Why? Why? Yeah, I'm getting tons. Okay, so Steve, you're right. Jonathan, you're right. Tom, you're right. Not consistency, not the system works. Guys, I am sad. You're making me sad. I got 3 guys with the right answer. The question is, Keith, when you've mastered the scripts and the motive, which means you can do the scripts and the motive as they're laid out, and you're doing your daily practice of the 15-minute drill and GOTS, why will you close every single person? I am so sad that I've got 3 right answers. Okay, there's Michael's got the right answer. Dudes, 4 people with the right answer? That's sad. Listen, write this down. I don't know how many times I said it. If they spend an hour and a half to 2 hours telling you why they're leaving their guy, what will they do? Now, all of you that answered wrong, answer that. So I got like 5 more right answers there. If they spend an hour and a half to 2 hours telling you there's 200 to 400 questions in there, all 200 or 400 questions are designed so that the client is sometimes in small ways, sometimes in large ways, telling you that they're going to leave their current advisor because they can't trust them. What do they do at the end? They move all their money. So if you've sat down with somebody, how about if they don't? What if they sat down with you and had no desire whatsoever of moving their money with you? If you master the scripts and the GOTS, what will they do? They're going to move. So if you sat down with somebody and didn't close them, why did that happen? If you sat down with somebody and you did not close them, what happened? Does it have anything? Who is the only person that had anything to do with that failure? Yeah, you got it right, Tom. So does it have anything to do with the client whatsoever? No. Good. So I'm going to hit you with this because, guys, why am I hitting you with this slide right here? I'm about to show you. Okay? Here's why. The eye-to-eye, September to October, we had 35 out of 150 advisors. That in itself tells you something. Out of 150 advisors that Jeff and I actively coach, we have more than that, but I'm only counting the people that Jeff and I actively coach. 35, so what's that, 1 in 5? 20% of the people actually try to do an eye-to-eye, which is kind of sad. 346 appointments were made. 307 were held, so we have an 11% no-show rate across the country. We got in front of $137 million. Just 35 guys got in front of $137 million. The average person we got in front of had $447,000 of investable assets. The average mailing found $1.95 million. The average mailing found $1.95 million. And so here's the thing. Why do you think then I'm showing you this script? Because how much of that 137 million should we have closed? And unfortunately, it's the 20-80 rule. 20% of those 35 guys killed it. They were closing $1.5 million, $2 million per mailing. $1.5 million, $2 million per mailing. And then we have other guys who got in front of 29 people, and guess what they did? Diddly-do. So guys, when you've mastered the scripts and the motive, you don't even have to be an expert on motivational interviewing. Why don't you have to be an expert on motivational interviewing? Because motivational interviewing is built into the scripts. You have the exact words that 400 guys before you have said to quadruple and quintuple their income. You don't even have to do anything except memorize scripts. And you could be making $800,000 to $2 million a year. $800,000 to $2 million a year. So I'm going to keep hitting you with this until you memorize the scripts and you do your daily practice of the gods. Okay? Because when we're getting you in front of this kind of money, dudes, it's like shooting fish in the barrel if you know the scripts. Make sense? So, I mean, Jeff, what would you have to say on that?
Well, you know, sometimes I guess when I talk to the guys, I have a little bit, yeah, I've talked to some people that are doing it, and I guess what I find is when we hear numbers like that, we always want to square those numbers with our experiences when we're out there actually doing it. So let me throw this out to everybody, because I know some of the 35 that did it are on, but a lot of you that are on maybe didn't do it. If you had to guess, so the way we got to that average was we found one person with $137 million worth of assets and everybody else had zero. I mean, is that what you would guess, or no? That's not what happened, right? So instead, what happened was everybody had $447,000 to invest, right? No, that's not what happened either. See, what happened to arrive at that average is, I would say that most people, at least the ones that I talked to, they had people that came in with little or no money, some. And then they had some people that had a lot of money, and most of the people that they saw had, you know, somewhere in between. And that was the typical experience, and that's what you have every right to expect, because that's the guarantee, that we're going to put you in front of at least 7 people, and they're going to have at least a combined total number of investable assets of $1 million or more. And so that's pretty much what people got. So everyone was happy, because we actually exceeded the 7 people. I think on average people got in front of 9. And again, that doesn't mean that everybody got in front of 9, or that one person got in front of 90 and everybody else got in front of 0. No. For the most part, people got in front of 9 people. And as you would guess, some of them had little money, some of them had a lot of money, but most everybody had something in between. But at least everybody, all 35, were happy. And I wish I could say that that was the case, but I think Mike's asking me because I had some phone calls where some people weren't happy. And so they'd say to me, well, is my experience typical? I mean, I'm seeing some people that don't have any money. And so guess what I would tell them? Yeah, I mean, that would be the typical experience, because everybody else is seeing some people with no money, and they're seeing some people with a lot of money, and some people with in between. Why? Is everybody got no money? Well, no. I mean, a few of them have money, but some of them don't. So guess what they were focused on? The people that had money or the people that didn't have money? Yeah, they were focused on the people that didn't have money. And they'd want to know, is my experience different? Because I'm seeing some people with no money, and I tell them, no, your experience is very typical. I mean, everybody's seeing some people with no money. Here's what makes your experience a little bit different, though. You aren't closing anybody. And that's what is ultimately what makes your experience, not the people that you see. Because what you're reporting to me is what I hear across the board. I've got some people with no money, I've got some people with a lot of money, and I've got most of the people with somewhere in between. And so that is the typical experience. The atypical experience is you're not closing anybody. And here's the sad thing, at least for me, is some of those people would send me tapes so that I could hear that the people that they would send me the tapes of the people that had no money, because they wanted to prove to me that some of these people had no money, which was kind of a waste because you didn't have to prove that to me. You could have just told me that and I would have believed you. That's a kind of a lot of time wasted sending me that tape. Guess what they didn't send me? They didn't send me any tapes of the people with money that they didn't close. And I don't know why, I guess, but I can guess why. They didn't do it right. They didn't want to know why it didn't go well.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there, Jeff. Just
Sure.
based on what we talked about here earlier with that slide, do we have to guess they didn't do it right? If they did it right, where we had them say 200 to 400 times in an hour and a half to 2 hours that they couldn't trust their guy. I don't care if they're a do-it-yourselfer with Vanguard or they have an advisor with Merrill Lynch. If they spend an hour and a half to 2 hours, 200 to 400 times telling you that they don't trust their current guy, what would they have done? They would have moved the money. So if you don't send the tape, I don't have to guess what went wrong.
Well, and here's the sad part. If you're not closing the cases, but you're getting in front of the people, and admittedly, not all of them have money, but everybody had over $1 million in assets, total, combined. That doesn't mean everybody had $1 million. That doesn't mean one person had $1 million and the other 8 had 0. It means probably there were 3 or 4 people that had under $100,000. There were 2 or 3 people that had over $1 million, and everybody had somewhere in between. But if you're getting in front of those people and you don't close them, can marketing fix that?
Nope.
I mean, should we be telling the people that do the mailing, hey, you have to change the mailing because it's not working?
Nope.
No, it's working. Marketing can't fix that. And can Mike or I fix it if you don't send in the tapes?
Nope.
See, a money-back guarantee that will get you in front of appointments with a combined total of $1 million in assets or more, that's as good as it gets in this business. You're never going to find anything better than that. Now, some people would say, well, it's not that I didn't close anybody. It's that I closed the small cases, but not the big ones. And to that I would say, well, I mean, that's good. I mean, that's a start.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember somebody when they first came in the industry was telling me they had a mentor who told them that he got started in the business with these mail leads that he would pay for. And that the first time that he did it, he closed just enough business to pay for the marketing. And so he asked the people that he was mentoring, so how often do you think I did that? And they all said, not very long. And he said, I did it all day long. Because the way I looked at it was, I got in front of all these people, and no matter what happened, I got experience. I was getting better. And you never know, those people knew people who, you know, maybe down the line are going to refer me, but that's neither here nor there. It was all free. Didn't cost me a cent. So yeah, if I'm going to get experience, is that what I wanted to do? Is that what I was hoping for? No. But if it paid for itself and I was still getting experience and I was still getting better and I was getting my name out in the community, well, if it's free, I'll do that all day long. And no, I don't want you guys to just close the small cases and not close the big cases. But hey, if you're getting experience and it's free and you're getting your name in the community, and the next time around you're going to have another chance to see some more people that are going to have some money and some people with a lot of money, then hey, I think you're at least wanting to get better is what it tells me. See, if you're not as good as you need to be or as good as you want to be, but you're committed to getting good, well, then we have the program for you. Because if you do those things, if you've mastered the scripts and the motive, and you do that daily practice, and you do your GOTS, then you're going to close all the cases, not just the small, but the big. And I think the thing that I always think about, and I just heard this a week or two ago, is if you guys watch football, the Indianapolis Colts, they're not having a great year. They're mediocre. I think with yesterday's win, they're 4-5. And here's their head coach's saying, so what? Now what? I mean, We're not doing as good as we wanted to do, but so what? I mean, what we got to focus on now is, now what? What are we going to do? How are we going to turn it around? How are we going to get better? And guess what? He has a program that he thinks that will make the players better. And we have a program that we think and know will make you better. And so if you're not doing as well as you could, you can get better. But you have to be out there. You have to be doing this. You have to be sending in the tapes. I mean, you have a tool that will work to close these people that are do-it-yourselfers or these people that have been with their advisors for a long, long time, these tire kickers and freeloaders that we think that are the only people that come into our office. We're lucky because we have a tool that will close those people. We have a tool that will get even those people to say 200-300 times, I don't trust Fidelity. I don't think Vanguard has my best interests at heart. And we know it works because the people with Vanguard and Fidelity invented it. And like Mike said, we've had hundreds of people before you do the exact same thing and have the exact same result. And here's the other thing. The Department of Labor, like Ben talked about, is going to require it. You're going to have to do something like this going forward. So like it or not, you're going to have to get good at this. Everybody is. You guys are lucky because you have a head start. You have something that'll work, and when you hit the ground running in January, you don't have to change anything. You just have to keep doing what you're doing. A lot of people are worried because they're going to have to change everything, and they don't know what they're going to do. And so if you have something guaranteed to put you in front of people, knowing that some of them won't have a lot of money, some of them will have a lot of money, and most of them will have something that'll make it worth your while, and you can get as good as you want, then you really do have access to an ATM machine. It's just like all you have to do is do the things on the screen, get as good as you want to get and as good as you need to get to close everybody, and you're golden. I think the thing that disappoints me a little bit, and it's the same thing that disappoints Mike, is when only 35 people do it, that tells me only 35 really want to get better. And I hope that that's not true. I mean, if you're sitting there thinking I should have done it, but it kind of got away from me, then what I would tell you is spend the time here that we have at the holidays to hone your skills, to do the things that you see on the screen, to master the 21 so that you'll be ready to hit the ground running when we can start doing this again in January.
And I forgot, Jeff, thanks, Jeff, because I forgot, and I apologize, 11 guys killed it. Out of the 35, 11 guys killed it. And then, like Jeff said, we had I think 3 guys that it blew up and got nothing, or got nothing, and the rest they made a tidy little profit, not a huge profit, but a tidy little profit. So 3 of them didn't send any tapes and wanted to call Jeff and complain about the fact that about the 2 people who didn't have money. The vast majority, they did okay. They made I don't I'm just guessing here, but they made $10,000-$15,000. Which is not bad. A 3-to-1 return on, spending $4,000, making $10,000 to $15,000. That's pretty good. We had 11 guys kill it. And I meant to say to those guys up front to ignore. I don't want to be singing to the choir here. So you guys killed. I mean, and I'll give you one example. One of the guys called me up, and he was laughing because one of the people from the Eye to Eye came in and was drunk as a skunk. Was drunk as a skunk. He said it was hilarious. And I said, well, kudos to you for being man enough to just laugh it off. He goes, well, why wouldn't I laugh it off? Yesterday I got in front of somebody at $350 and $850. So I got in front of somebody at $350,000 and another person in front of $850. Guess how much I'm going to worry about this guy that was drunk in my office? So to you 11 that have killed it, to you other, I guess I don't know how many of that leaves, the rest of you that did a great job and are going to do and have promised to do even better come here January, awesome. I guess what the person I'm talking to is those 3 people who were bitching about the fact that they got in front of people, didn't want to talk about the people that they screwed up and didn't get any business from. The only thing they want to talk about is the 1 or 2 people that didn't have money. Don't do that anymore, okay? And for the rest of you, but at least those 3 guys, Jeff, what? At least they tried. What about the other 120 guys?
Right, the guys that, yeah, they're in the game. The rest of you need to get in the game. That's the only way you can win.
And I'll tell you, the 11 that killed it, Guess what they did June and July when we're talking about rolling this out? They did master the scripts and master the motive. And they've been doing their 15-minute drills forever. Even before June and July, they took that seriously. So I'm going to make a coaching decision here. When I played football, I had a coach one time who called a team meeting and chewed our behinds and then said, I'm calling off the rest of the practice today because I want you to leave and go home and think about this. So I had the rest of the coaching call planned. I'm just going to roll that till next week. We're going to talk about bias and how you can use people's fallacies and bias and your own fallacies and bias to really catapult your business. Once you understand why people have bias, why people have fallacies, why you have fallacies, why you have biases and fallacies, and how you can overcome those to really blow up your business. But I think what I'd rather do today than go into that is I want you to leave thinking about what Jeff has just talked about today. What I've just talked about today. You've got November, December, because January, February, March, April, guess when you should be freaking marketing to beat the band, guys? Why should you be marketing to beat the band in January, February, March, and April? Why? If you don't get this, oh my gosh. Yeah. Jonathan says, everybody's saying DOL. So what's going to happen to commissions after April? I guarantee you they're going to go down 20%. So when should you be marketing to beat the band? January, February, March, and April. You should be running to these every single freaking month. If you spend November and December mastering the scripts so that you can get the people to tell you the motive of why their guy or why the company they're working with took advantage of them, and you're doing your 15-minute drill. Should you be doing your 15-minute drill 5 days a week, guys? I hope you don't say yes. I hope you don't say yes. What should you be doing your 15-minute drill? If you're serious, 7 days a week. That's right, guys. So instead of watering down what we're talking about here, I'd rather just call this coaching call short. And again, you 11 guys, I apologize. I meant to excuse you from the call here before we got into it. But thank you for hitting it hard. And you guys are going to, because even the guy, the guy that was laughing about the drunk guy did 2 mailings, 1.1 million in new money, 1.8 million in new money. How happy is he? Guys, he freaking wrote more business in 1 month with 2 mailings than most of you guys have written in the last freaking year. He's happy. I mean, and that was more than he wrote in the previous year. But he spent June and July mastering the scripts and the motive and doing his 15-minute drills. Please, you have the goose that laid the golden egg. Why are you letting him run around in the yard? Grab him. Grab him. You've got everything you need to make as much money as you want going forward. Spend November and December doing it. Make sense to everybody? So I'm just going to call the call short here, and then we'll cover biases and fallacies and how we can capitalize on those next week. I really appreciate all your hard work, but guys, you didn't come on for hard work. You came on to make money. Let's start centering our hard work on these things that are on the screen, okay? Awesome. You guys have a great rest of the day, and hopefully you liked the Friday call. The Friday email that we sent. You can get some yays or nays on that, sending out that Friday email, which kind of goes through a short 15-minute drill, finding something that's wrong, and good, I'm getting a lot of yeses. Perfect.
It's actually Thursday, in case people.
Oh, Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. We sent it out Thursday, so you can work on it on Friday. So
Correct.
Good. Cool. So you guys have a great rest of the day, and in fact, have a great rest of the week, and we'll talk to you next Monday. And then you'll get those couple of emails here later in the week to kind of give you things to work on. Make sense? Be well. Talk to you soon.